So, in light of the boycott today, guess who else is boycotting Africa today? The whole United States of America is. So today, Trump hit Africa with some new tariffs from 10 to 50% in tariffs. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. All right, y'all, here we go. President Trump announces the imposition of new reciprocal tariffs on several African countries, impacting their economic relationship with the United States. These new tariffs range from 10% to 50%, with the higher rates applied to countries running trade deficits with the U.S. The policy shift has generated concerns about potential job losses, economic instability, and shifts in trade dynamics for affected African nations. See, for some reason, y'all thought y'all was just beefing with some black American slaves, not realizing that we are Americans. See, y'all did all this slandering, all this slurring, not knowing that y'all were making yourselves terrorists against the United States by beefing with us, the true American. We're not black folks. We're Americans. So when you beef with us, you beef with the whole country. Gone.
Johannesburg, South Africa. African countries have been bracing for bad news and scrambling for last-minute negotiations ahead of President Trump's announcement on tariffs Thursday night. South Africa, which has had a strained relationship with President Trump, is the only African country singled out in the announcement with a 30% tariff increase on August 7th. Most other African countries have been hit with tariffs ranging in between 10 to 15%. South African Trade Minister Park Tau stated that he and other ministers have people across all sectors from business to civil society have been working for months to negotiate a deal with Washington, including offering to invest $3.3 billion in United States industries and buying natural gas, but there was no response. Quote, "My opinion, we have pulled out all the stops, sending ministers from various departments, business delegation, and trade unions to fully address the United States concerns." He even stated that there was no response to their final initial offer until Wednesday evening, when the United States officials told them to improve their offer in a last-minute appeal. Quote, "We don't have a deal. We spoke to the United States last night, Wednesday, and they indicated that they could not confirm what the announcement would be and encouraged us to submit an enhanced proposal for what would be presented to the White House." In a statement Thursday night, Tao stated that, quote, "We are working with urgency and resolve to implement real practical interventions that defend jobs and positions South Africans competitively in a shifting global landscape." In neighboring Lesotho, the government declared a state of emergency following the declaration in April that the United States would impose a 50% tariff, the highest in the world. The threat of tariff had a devastating effect on reverberating across the tiny mountain kingdom of just over 2 million people. The notice came just months after the United States aid funding cuts, and now the threats of tariffs meant many garment companies closed their doors or reduced their staff to half time in ensuing months. Lesotho is often referred to as the denim capital of Africa, as it is where Levi's and other brands are manufactured, as well as other textiles for companies like JCPenney, Walmart, and Costco. The African Growth and Opportunity Act, or the AGOA, created back in 2000 as part of the trade not aid philosophy, gives some 35 African countries duty-free access to the United States for their goods. The textile industry, the country's main employer, providing as much as 50,000 jobs, has had a trade surplus with the United States for the last few years. This is why some economists believe that President Trump singled out Lesotho for the hefty tariffs. So in light of the information, I wanted to bring up a little bit more information because, again, this was something that I did not know about at all. It says that cotton in Africa is primarily grown in West Africa and the eastern zone, including coastal, eastern, and eastern regions. West Africa has a significant number of cotton-producing countries, including Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, and Togo, according to the Mordor Intelligence. In East Africa, cotton cultivation is also present in countries like Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. Later on, it's stated that who is the leading producer of cotton in Africa? The answer is Mali, has maintained its position for the second consecutive year as the top cotton producer among the members of countries of the regional program for integrated cotton production in Africa, the PICA, for the 2023 through 2024 seasons, producing 690,000 tonnes. You know, like I said before, for the loudest Africans directly out here, y'all are doing way too much. For the other Africans that are sitting back idly by and just watching, and they're just laughing and kikiing and all this other type of stuff, like, yo, this is not going to play out well. This is not going to play out well at all. For whatever reason, y'all thought that the whole boycott that y'all were worried about all online, like, oh, you black Americans, you black Americans, you black Americans, rah, 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 right, wanted to do all that. But Trump has been placing tariffs directly on you guys. And why is it that I don't see y'all as vocal? Why is it that you where's all of that bravado, all of that confidence? Y'all want to educate, y'all want to say this, y'all want to say that, y'all got all of these degrees, and why y'all not trying to levy that against Trump or the whole of the United States government? Why is it that you guys are sitting back so quiet and so silent? But when it is that black Americans are simply stating that because you are all being so disrespectful on these internet streets on how it is that you guys see, dictate, and speak on and brand black Americans, we're going to boycott your businesses here in these United States, of which is our home, and you are a guest. We're going to do that because we can, because y'all don't run nothing here. You don't control nothing here, which you do not, even though for whatever reason, the many of the voices that I've shown on this platform thus far have all tried to state otherwise, that Africans are running the nurse and the medical industry, that there are tons of African gas stations and tons of African convenience stores. Coming from Detroit, no, there's not. I've seen more Arabs that will actually, truthfully speaking, more Arabs that will run and own gas stations and things of that such versus Africans. Like I said, I don't know where they're pulling these stats directly from, but they must be imaginary. They have to be imaginary, because even on Grok, even on ChatGPT, yeah, y'all ain't showing up like that. So again, I'm not sure what population you really think that you are a part of, but you need to really separate your percentage of actual Africans from the continent from the black Americans that have been here generationally. And then you can start to see the disparities. And when it deals with the success and the education and the ownership of business and all of these different types of things. Like I said before, it's crazy. 100%. Because some of the loudest mouths that want to sit up there and talk about education and running businesses, you can have all of that, but you're not educating and running no business back there in Africa, though. You're not doing this stuff right back at home. You're not talking about like, oh, I own a town, back in Africa with all of the education and money that I got now. I'm raising up my people and You're not talking about none of that. You're not talking about creating solar panels and giving lights and electricities to the areas that may not have it, or running water so that they don't have to continue to travel back and forth for miles. You're not talking about doing none of that. So I'm a little bit confused. You're not even talking about owning a market in your local area of which you grew up, so that your people can now have a place to go instead of trying to venture maybe somewhere off, miles and miles and miles far off in the distance. Like I said before, it's crazy how a lot of the Africans that are coming to America or just got here, or have recently been here maybe for some decades or whatnot or whatever, it's amazing how you guys want to talk so greasy. Y'all want to talk so wild, so crazy, so unhinged, as if people can't really dissect and just look at things. And I find it cute that in a lot of the speeches and in a lot of the words that you guys like to use, you have this passive aggressive, you have this type of manner of which you guys say things, but you say it in such a sarcastic and light type of way that you're trying to make it seem or come off as that you're not doing anything wrong, when psychologically you know exactly what it is that you're doing, you know what it is that you're saying, you know what it is that you're trying to trigger. And it's the exact same methodology that the Caucasians, Europeans have always been sitting up there doing. You've just decided to take on that brand, but specifically only when it is Black Americans that you're speaking to. You don't want to do this with no other group. You're not even trying to do this with another group. Going back to the example that I gave before when it dealt with President Trump and how it is that he's levied tariffs directly on your continent. But specifically in South Africa, you got that 50%. That is the highest that we have seen in a sense thus far, at least going by what the article stated. Like I said, that's crazy to me. And y'all don't have no smoke for that. Whenever it deals with Caucasians doing anything to y'all, y'all don't have no mouth. Y'all mouths are closed. Not moving. It is zipped, tied, it is shut, it is lock and key, thrown in the Mariana Trenches. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Matter of fact, y'all putting on blinders at this moment in time because y'all don't even see what Trump is doing. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I'm like, so for all of this time before the, the quote unquote boycott was starting, y'all mouths were running like a broken faucet, had everything in the world to sit up there and say about Black Americans. We're uneducated, we don't got no money, we're this, we're that, all this other type of stuff, because we simply said, hey, you're disrespectful, we're going to teach you a lesson, we're boycotting your stuff, directly here. Cool. So the United States government, Trump, decides that they're going to sit up there and impose those tariffs, which are going to hurt your people there back at home. Don't say nothing. Wow, color me surprised. Color me surprised. And then to sit up there and find out of all of this time, and I'm probably going to repeat this, cut this and repeat it back at the first part, because again, this is wild to me. So you mean to tell me that all of this time y'all been calling us slaves and Akata and cotton pickers and all this other type of stuff, that you guys are the real cotton pickers? That's what, because I want y'all to understand, we have cotton in the United States. There is cotton that grows in the United States. So it's not like the United States really needs to have anybody else pick this cotton or to produce jeans directly for us. But for whatever reason, again, as what they did in America when they needed another base in order to do the work nobody else wanted to do, they enable other folks and pay them pennies on the dollar. And I'm guessing clearly that's what a lot of these people over in Africa are getting paid in order to pick this cotton and to produce these jeans. Because I promise you that you're not making anywhere close to what it is that a JCPenney, a Levi, or anybody else is sitting up there making when they're selling these directly at their storefront with their brand names in a lot of these various countries. Wow, that's crazy. That is diabolical. And you got the nerve to be running all online and to really be talking about Black Americans, how we're just slaves and this, that. Wow. Seems like a lot of projection. That's exactly what I'm getting right here. That's exactly what I'm looking like. It looks like a lot of projection. But yet they sit up there and say that Black Americans are the most uneducated. Okay. You got it. Keep making my jeans though. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.